And I'm doing the same thing as I always do. I have just dropped my daughter off at school. We had a bunch of dentist and orthodontist and appointments, just medical dental stuff to do this morning. So I'm dropping her off at school late. And I'm definitely headed to the gym, but not to work out today. I'm going to go work, real work today. So, yes, I'm late, but I know what I wanted to talk about today. I was thinking about it earlier, how the male loneliness epidemic, men right now are really, really, really lonely, especially the older ones. There's younger ones too, but right now there's so many people, so many men. A lot of people are lonely. Don't get me wrong. The loneliness epidemic affects both men and women, but it affects men more. There are more men who are lonely. There are more men who are dying alone than women. There are more men who are left alone in nursing homes with nobody visiting them. There are more men who don't even have nursing homes. They're just dying by themselves. Um, and it's becoming. They call it an epidemic because it's so bad and it's affecting so many people. And I think I know why. And I'm going to talk about that today. Like, why are men so lonely? Right. First reason I think men are so lonely, and it has to do with patriarchy, and you guys can get upset with me for saying this, but patriarchy tells men that they shouldn't have any type of emotional connection with anyone, like, that they can confide in other than a romantic partner. That's it. Men don't they don't make connections, platonic connections with other men or other people or family members where they are not are they emotionally connected, where they share what they're going through, whatever it is, personally. And sometimes they don't even do it with the romantic partner, but they don't share emotions, what they're going through mentally, what they're going through physically with anyone else other than a romantic partner. And that's a big issue because right now, women are choosing not to take on the burden of men's emotional issues. We are not, and it's different because women do not rely on men for that type of emotional connection. Women rely on other women, family members, friends. Women, we build those connections mostly with other women, not with a romantic partner. So if we are going through something that is hard, we talk to our friends, we talk to our girlfriends, we talk to our family members, our sisters, our cousins, we talk to somebody else. Men don't form those types of relationships. So the only person that they confide in when they're going through something is their romantic partner. And right now, they don't have any. So that's the first reason I think that men are really struggling. They don't have there's not as many, like, women are divorcing men, women are not dating men, women are like, you know what, it's not worth it because men have become such a burden on women. The next reason why I think the male loneliness epidemic is so bad is not, they rely on their romantic partners, but they don't use their friendships the same way that women use friendships. Like, there are so many men who don't know that their male friends are sick, and if their male friends will just drop dead, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know he was sick." How do you not know your friend is sick? Women don't understand this. We don't understand how you don't know your best friend. It could be like their best friend. Their best friends can have cancer, and they don't know because men, because of patriarchy, have not been taught to discuss these things with their friends. They are not discussing these things. They're not bonding with their friends in a way that provides emotional support. So they don't have anybody. So if they don't have a romantic partner, even if they have friends, they're not talking to their friends the way that they should so that they have the emotional support that they need when they go through something. So they're lonely because they don't have any emotional connection to anybody at all, even if they have friends. Like, some of these men who are very lonely have friends, but they're not using or talking to their friends in a way, their male friends, their platonic relationships, in a way that makes them, feel comfortable being vulnerable, sharing what they're going through. So they're lonely because they don't have anybody to talk to. So first, they don't have romantic partners. Second, their platonic friends are not reliable platonic friends. Now, my third reason why men are suffering from the loneliness epidemic more than women, they don't connect with their children. A lot of men, especially the older generation, don't see their children as autonomous people. So they don't make any kind of attempt to emotionally connect with their children. And so their children grow up, they don't feel bonded with their children don't feel bonded with them. So they don't have any emotional connection to their children, because what's happening is a lot of these men are dying alone in nursing homes, and not even their kids are coming to see them. They have kids. A lot of these men who are dying alone have children, but they've made no attempt to emotionally connect with their children, and their children are like, I don't have any reason to connect with you. You weren't there for me. You don't know me. You made no attempt to get to know me. So why should I care about you? So that's my three reasons why men are suffering more, because they think romantic partners are supposed to be their one all be all for all their emotional issues. And women have said, we're done with that. Like, I'm done with it. I know I'm not the only woman who's done with it. We're tired of being your emotional dumping ground. So you got to go get therapy. Like, a lot of men don't understand that you shouldn't use your romantic partner as a therapist. Your romantic partner is not your therapist. You need to go to therapy to deal with whatever traumas that you've been through and are going through. Second, you need to rely on your friends. Men need to learn to cultivate friendships that are healthy, that are supportive. Like, you guys got to make friends. And I think I read a study sometime back, how men don't create those types of bonds like women. Like, women support each other. Like, and you guys can attest to this. Like, if one of your girlfriends gets sick, there's another girlfriend or sister or cousin that's like calling, hey, do you need anything? You need some soup? You need me to bring anything? You want me to go and do this errand for you? That's the type of support that makes people feel less lonely. Men don't have that because they're not taking time to cultivate those types of relationships with their friends, and they should be. They should be cultivating relationships with their friends so that they are not lonely. That's on them. I mean, it really comes down to men have to be responsible for their own loneliness, but I don't think they understand why they're so lonely, and so I'm breaking it down. So that's the second reason. So first, they think the romantic partners would make you feel less lonely. If you're lonely and you think getting a girlfriend is going to make you feel less lonely, just stop. The other one, get some friends, real friends. Be vulnerable with your friends. Stop hanging out with dudes that only talk about sports and women. Find dudes that want to know you and know what's going on in your life and care about you. You guys got to start caring about each other. Like, that just got to happen so that you don't feel so lonely. Because if you have some friends, that's why women don't feel lonely. Like, single women are not lonely because we're hanging out with our friends. We're having a good time. We're having a good time. We're cooking meals, watching movies. We're hanging out. We're bonding. Men need to bond over more than just sports. More than just sports. And then lastly, it's their kids. They think that their kids are extensions of them instead of thinking of their children as human beings with their own lives and their own paths. Then they need to bond with their children. These men are not bonding with their children. And they are not taking, another thing is, a lot of these men don't take care of their kids. They think that as long as, some of them don't even pay money, but they think as long as they're paying some money, then they've done enough. You haven't done enough. If you think as a father, all you have to do is pay for everything, that you're not responsible for being emotional support to your children and being there for your kids, you're not a parent. You're not a parent. You're not doing enough. And that's why your kids are not rocking with you like that. And that's why when you get old and you're like alone and lonely and you're wondering why you're so lonely, it's because you've not taken time to get to know your children so they want to be around you. Like a lot of these dudes don't realize that, yeah, you gotta work on these relationships. So, okay, I'm parked now. So like that's the reason why men are suffering from loneliness more than women, because they don't take time to go cultivate the relationships that prevent them from feeling lonely. Like if you don't want to feel lonely, first of all, you got to go get some therapy. That's the first thing, because people don't want to bond with people who have all sorts of crazy going on. Like that's important. That doesn't mean that you can't have friends while you're going through therapy, but you really need to work on you first before you try to bring anybody else in your crazy. And then once you are ready, you got to work on the relationships. You got to go out there. You got to make some friends. You got to bond with your kids, because if you have friends and family who want to be around you, then you're not gonna feel lonely, because loneliness doesn't require romantic relationships. You just can just hang out with friends and family, and they will support you if you're the type of person who is supportive to them. If you're a good person, not a fake good person who thinks they're good but is really like a horrible human being, a toxic human being. Yeah, that's why these men are feeling so lonely. So yeah, I was thinking about that, and I know I'm late on my live today, but I think I told you guys that I was probably going to be late. Anyway, I am sitting so I can see. Right, okay. I see, was it Breeze Louise? You said, we're witnessing the facades of everything being blown wide open. Yes, that's true. Men deal with everyone on a transactional and surface level. Yeah, they do. They think that they deserve to be supported because they're men. And they don't understand why women are doing so well being single when they are suffering being single. Like, men are suffering, and it's because of patriarchy. I keep telling you, patriarchy and sexism hurts men too. I've been saying that for decades. Nobody wanted to listen to me, but that's okay. We're catching up. They are suffering from their own system. Right now, like I said, women are like, we are not rehabilitation centers for men. We are not here to make men feel less lonely. We are not here to take on all your burdens. A lot of men want women to take on their emotional problems and make them feel better. That's not how this works. We are not here to make you feel better. You got to make yourself feel better. Like, men have to work on themselves first, and then a relationship becomes like an equal partnership, and it's great for both people. But if you are out here like thinking that if you're home and you're lonely and you're single as a guy, and you think that getting a woman is going to make your life less lonely, it's not, because women are not putting up with that anymore. And like I said, that's the first problem. The first problem is they think women are supposed to make them less lonely. The second problem is their friendships. Like I said earlier, dudes are out here dropping dead, literally dropping dead. I'm not making that up. And their closest friends, their closest buddies didn't even know they were sick. Do you know how crazy that sounds? That when you get sick, women, if we catch a cold, we telling a girlfriend. So if we have something serious like cancer or heart disease, we're telling our kids or we're telling somebody so that there's some emotional support there. Men are not, they don't even have the relationship with their friends and family, except for maybe if they're married, to talk to their family and friends, their buddies, their male friends don't know they're sick. That sounds crazy to me. That you can be completely terminally ill and you don't feel like you can tell your friend. You should be able to tell your friend you're ill. You should. You should be able to tell your friend that you're sick. If you can't tell your friend that you're sick, there's a problem. But that's how male relationships, male friends work. They don't tell their male friends what they're going through, so they lack the emotional support. So they don't really have a real friendship. That's the thing. Like, these men don't really have real friendships, and men need to work on forming real friendships with other men. That needs to happen. You'll feel less lonely, fellas, if you form genuine friendships with men or women. You could, women make good friends, but they have to be friends. Like, stop thinking that you have to have sex with your female friends. You can have platonic female friends, but you got to know that that's a platonic friendship. But if you have those types of friends who you can share with and talk to, that makes you feel less lonely. Other thing is you gotta be there for your kids. You gotta bond with your kids. Like, again, men who think that just paying for everything means I'm a good father, and some of them ain't even doing that. You're not a good dad if you just pay for everything. You have to be in your children's lives. You have to know who they are, get to know them, because they're whole humans. They're like, I have a daughter. She's a whole different person from me. I have to get to know her, know what she's going through, and know what's going on in her life, and support whatever she's doing. And I gotta go to stuff and be there. Like, you gotta be there. You gotta be solidly there, because when you get older, your kids will not support you. If you don't support your kids, and there's a lot of people learning that lesson right now. There's a lot of baby boomers right now learning the lesson that if you weren't there for your Gen X kids, your Gen X kids are not gonna be there for you. And that's just the way it is. So these fellas, if you're lonely, if you feel lonely, I'm going to tell you straight up, it's your fault. You're lonely because of you. If you want to stop feeling lonely and stop feeling alone, you've got to do some things. First, you've got to work on yourself. That means that whatever it is that's keeping people away from you, and I'm sure there's a very good reason people are not rocking with you, you need to go to therapy. You got to, and a real therapist, like a real one through a medical group. You got to go to therapy. Work on whatever it is, and what you said, I'm getting ready to immediately read immediately. Like, look, whatever it is that you are doing to keep people away from you, fellas, you got to go to therapy and work on that first. Then after you get into therapy and start going through whatever it is, because you're lonely because people are not rocking with you for a reason. Once you work on that, then you need to work on the fact that you don't have any supportive relationships around you. That means you got to work on being a good friend. You can't have good friends if you're not a good friend. That's the other thing. Like, friendships go both ways. You can't just expect a one-ended friendship. Like, friends, you can't expect friends to just let you emotionally dump on them and, like, let you just take advantage of them. And you can't do that. You got to be there for your friends. So if they're going through something, you have to support them. And if you go through something, they're going to support you. That's how friendship works. But a lot of you guys don't have friends. A lot of you guys don't have real friends. You have, like, people you hang out with. You got to get you some real friends. If you don't have real friends that you can't share real hardships with, they are not your friends. They're not your friends. So you need to learn what friendship is, get you some real friends, and then you won't feel so lonely because you'll have some friends to do stuff with. Last thing is, you got to fix your relationships with your children. Like I said, a lot of these dudes are dying in these hospitals and nursing homes by themselves. And they have children, more than one. But their children stopped rocking with them because they were bad fathers. If your children don't speak to you, they don't invite you to dinner. If you're an adult and you have adult kids and your adult children don't speak to you, don't come see you, don't invite you to the holidays, don't invite you in their lives at all, you messed up. That's something you did. And you have to fix it. You have to go to therapy, work on you, because therapy comes first. And then you need to go to your kids. And first, you probably need to apologize for being a bad dad. You were a bad father, and they stopped talking to you because they recognized you were a bad father, and they were like, we don't need you in our lives. And be prepared, because your kids might not forgive you. They might be like, thanks for the apology, but I'm cool. And you got to just accept that. You got to accept that that's a possibility, that you will not be able to repair your relationship with your kids. That happens. It is what it is. But, yeah, those are the 3 reasons. So if you're just getting here, I'm getting ready to get off because I got stuff to do. But the 3 reasons why Men suffer from loneliness more than women. They think romantic partners are supposed to be their emotional support, which is not the way it's supposed to be. They don't have real friendships. They don't have real friends that they can rely on, and then they have not been good parents to their children. They're not good fathers to their children, so their children are not rocking with them. Those are the three things that men have to work on if they want to feel less lonely. If you want to get out of feeling lonely, you got to work on you first, and then work on building up the relationships that you have or don't have, or create some new ones. But once you do that, you'll feel less lonely, fellas. You'll feel less lonely. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. Like you got to work on you. But if you're lonely, it's your fault. I'm gonna just tell you, loneliness is definitely your fault. Anyway, as always, folks, please, comment, subscribe. Let's see. Make sure if you want me to talk about something on these lives, I don't know if I'll do two this weekend. I'll try to do one sometime, either Saturday or Sunday morning. I'm not sure yet. If you want me to talk about something on live, just leave me a comment or hit me up on my socials. I am Kai Nicole on Facebook and Twitter. I am Kai Fly Mommy on Instagram and Threads. Please follow me on those platforms. If you have a subject you want me to make a video about, just let me know. Just send me a message. And yeah, I think that's it. And I'm gonna struggle to get off of this thing again. But yes, I hope you enjoy. Please leave any kind of comments, any kind of commentary, anything you want me to work on, I will work on. And as always, I appreciate all of you all watching. It's very funny to me that you watch, but I realize that this time in the car is a good time for me to make videos because my brain is always going when I'm driving. And now I got to go and do more grown up stuff and work and live life. Like I'm trying to do this while living my real life. It's crazy. So anyway, as always, thank you. And I'm gonna struggle to get off, but peace, guys, and